News for area car buyers.
Charlie, it's just announced that Honda of Lincoln has won 3 of the Lincoln Journal-Star's Lincoln Choice Awards: Best New Car Dealer, Best Auto Repair, and Best Place to Get Your Oil Changed.
Wow, that's great, Andy. Anything else?
Yes, we were runner-up for Best Pre-Owned Dealer and Best Tire Dealer. A lot of people don't understand that we do sell tires here.
Very exciting, Andy. Why do you think your dealership is winning so many awards?
Charlie, we simply say it's the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business.
Looks like Honda of Lincoln is the great news headquarters for Lincoln.
Yes, and even all of Nebraska, we are also announcing that Honda of Lincoln's the only dealer in the state of Nebraska to win the prestigious Honda President's Award for 2024.
Honda of Lincoln, Nebraska's #1 volume Honda dealer, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Call the trial attorneys you can trust. 877-42-LIBERTY.
Give your furnace a break with the help of Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Heartland of Nebraska Windows offers a free estimate, full window replacements, all vinyl triple pane windows, and a lifetime warranty of everything, while still keeping their prices affordable. Sounds too good to be true, right? Heartland of Nebraska Windows is locally and family owned with their own team of installers. Give the window experts at Heartland of Nebraska Windows a call today at 402-430-3852 or visit them online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. Elevate your home or business with the help of Heartland of Nebraska Windows today.
At Raising Cane's, we focus on being the best at one thing and getting it right every time. Which is why every chicken finger meal we serve is marinated, hand-battered, cooked to order, and made just for you. Quality isn't complicated, and our menu is proof.
Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Skip the line and order with our app or online.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker, who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. As always, you can check out all things The Ticket at theticketfm.com, Facebook, the Tube of You, social media, podcast platforms, Amazon Prime. It's every freaking where. It's even on TV as well. Or just simply turn your radio dial to 93.7. It's a loaded show today, as always. A little bit shorter than normal, so it's going to be even more loaded than normal, if that's even possible. I got a friend with me today. Jake has decided not to come to work for the next 2 weeks. I guess people take vacations around here, but that's all right. I'm joined by my friend, producer Jackson. How you doing, Jackson?
I'm doing pretty good, Adam. How are you?
I'm glorious. Are you looking forward to the next couple of weeks, or is it terrifying?
I'm looking forward to it.
It'll be
it's fun. It's fun. Good way to kick off the summer.
Absolutely. It'll be a whole lot of fun. All right. Loaded show today. Trey Taylor shows out at the Elite 11 quarterback camp. All right. Husker baseball. The postseason starts tonight. Big Ten tournament taking on Michigan State. What's the deal with this tournament format? And what do we think Husker baseball can do in the Big Ten tournament? They pretty much got to win the whole thing to realistically keep going on in the postseason. Something they did a year ago, I might add. Is the Big Ten indeed better than the SEC? Urban Meyer, who was coached in and won national titles in both conferences, thinks that the Big Ten is now ahead of the SEC. Notre Dame and USC, they might not continue their rivalry. A near century-long rivalry is in jeopardy. All right, and Nebraska football legend, a former national champ, All-American, All-Conference performer, defensive lineman, NFL vet, former Husker himself, Mr. Steve Warren, is going to join us at 12:30 today. Let's dive right off the top. Were you able to see much, and you and I didn't really chat about this beforehand, but were you able to really see much from Trey Taylor at the Elite 11 quarterback camp at all?
I saw a little bit of it, yeah.
What were your thoughts?
Exactly what we all thought he was, just an elite quarterback showing out at the Elite 11. So, yeah.
I thought he looked good. I thought he looked sharp. If you follow him on social media, you notice a couple of things right away. Number one, just seems like a good dude. He just does. Not because I want him to be a good dude, because we expect him to be our quarterback, but he just seems like a good dude. The way he interacts with fans, the way he responds to people, the way he's willing to interact with people, and even going back to his signing day when he came back and made the apology video that he didn't have to make, tossing the Illinois hat, which I don't know. Like I said, if it was a Nebraska hat, maybe I wouldn't have felt any different. It's part of the signing, or not signing day, but his announcement fun that kids have nowadays. So for me, he didn't have to do that, but just the fact that he did it showed a consciousness of the people around him, an awareness of self-awareness, and then he is peer recruiting like no other right now. He is determined to bring people to Lincoln with him. And when you watch the Elite 11 quarterback stuff that you're able to see, you see a kid who's like, what I was going to say on social media before I move on going forward, you see him doing getting up at 5, and he posts about these Zoom calls and everything else that he's doing and getting better and trying to learn and trying to work on his footwork and trying to work on his craft and trying to get better. And then I have to remind myself, he's almost out of school, but technically he's still a sophomore.
True.
Can he drive yet? I don't even know his age. He probably can drive if he's a sophomore,
I think so.
Right?
Yeah, I think I drove when I was a sophomore. So
I was almost a junior. I was young for my class. I was born in May, so I was always very young. Plus, my dad made me wait till I was 17. I don't know why he didn't trust me, but he didn't. And then one of the first things I did, it was we had a day off of school, and it's like my mom's old car, so it wasn't some fancy car. It's an appropriate car for a kid in high school to drive for his first car. I'll put it that way, okay? And we get a day off of school because it's snowing and crazy snow everywhere. So I'm going to go take a spin, and I'm just randomly driving around, no big deal. Never really driven in snow like that. I grew up riding four-wheelers on big, gigantic sand dunes. Very dangerous stuff depending on what you choose to do, and I chose to make it very entertaining and dangerous. About died 3 different times. Story for another day. So I was used to loose ground and whipping the back end around and how to turning right to go left and all that good stuff. But I got going way too fast, and I ended up bam right into a Bronco that was parked on the side. Totaled my mom's car. All right, now to this day, my dad maintains that she was furious. To this day, she maintains it was an excuse to get a new car. So somebody's lying to me. It doesn't really matter. This was 24 years ago, now that I'm 41. But we had a game that night versus our crosstown rival. Basketball game. So I'm at the basketball game, and I can kind of hear, as I'm walking by, some of the kids from our student section kind of like Bronco, like they're saying Bronco because I totaled the car into my mom's car went right underneath basically the bumper of the Bronco. The Bronco had barely a scratch on it, by the way.
Yeah.
And I'm at the free throw line shooting later in the game, and my own student section starts chanting Bronco. I'm like, you raging a-holes. Anyways, what was I talking about? I completely went off track with the whole random story. What?
Trey Taylor.
That's right, Trey Taylor. My point is, when you pay attention to some of the things that he posts, he's working hard. He's not ramming into Broncos, but he's still a sophomore in high school. But the Zoom calls, he's working on his footwork, he's working on his craft, he's trying to get better, and then you got to remind yourself that he's still an underclassman in high school. But it's hard not to like him. So when you watch the Elite 11 footage and the quarterback stuff that you can watch, here's what I see. I see a kid who looks like he's a junior or senior already. I see a kid who was on point when it came to short and intermediate passes being accurate. A kid whose footwork is ahead of where he probably should be. So he's got good footwork is what I'm saying. Fancy way of saying he's got good footwork. And you can tell he's put in the time, the effort, the work. And when you watch the actual passes, they've got good zip on him, especially for his age. He's only going to get bigger. He's only going to get stronger. He's got 2 more years before he ever steps foot on a college campus somewhere. I guess if he enrolls early, a solid year and a half at the least, okay? And so for me, you watch him, you watch how he is on social media, you watch the stuff that he posts, you watch him at the Elite 11 camp, and he stands out. He looks good, and then I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. This kid's still a sophomore. I keep thinking he's a junior or senior. And so for me, when I watch him doing these things, to me, it's hard not to get excited. Now, again, unfortunately, I have to reiterate what we all already know. There's other college coaches that are not going to stop recruiting him. They've got 2 years or 18 months or whatever it is to try to change his mind. But he's been adamant that he's coming here. And in fact, when I saw him talk about it online, he said 18 months. So he probably plans on enrolling early. Like he plans on being here in 18 months. He plans on bringing as many top recruits as he possibly can with him. And it's hard not to just not like him in general. Some of the other recruits at Nebraska's obviously they're going after the best of the best that they can possibly talk to across the country. Matt Rule, and I'm going to paraphrase here, but in one of his press conferences, it may have been back during spring ball, I forget. He basically said, we're not trying to compete with Big 12 teams. And it wasn't a shot at the Big 12, although it could easily be perceived that way. He was just stating the obvious. The Big 10 and the SEC are a different level of competition than the Big 12 and ACC, which are a different level of competition than G5 teams. If someone wants to get upset about that, they can, or you can say, hey, that also just makes a lot of sense. So he was saying, like, we are going to go after the kids and recruit the kids and try to get the commits that we need to compete at the highest level, which is the Big 10 and the SEC, and they're certainly doing that. They're in the conversations. All right, for kids such as Kevin Abbott, 6'5", 285-pound, top 10 offensive tackle in the 2026 class. He's narrowed down to his Final Four schools. You got Nebraska, you got Oregon, you got Utah, you got Michigan. All right, so Nebraska's in a lot of these kids' Final Four, Final Five schools. Chicago's Morgan Parks, Nasir Rankin, announces his commitment later this week. He is a 4-star, top 100, number 85 overall recruit and player in the class of 2026. He's narrowed it down to Duke, Illinois, Nebraska, North Carolina, and SC. And these are just a couple of guys. I'll give you one more. I thought this was awesome. Defensive line coach Terry Braden traveled to Sweden in the recruitment of Valdine Sohn, a 6'3", 316-pound defensive lineman, ranked 174 in the 2026 composite rankings. Let me repeat that. He traveled to Sweden to recruit this kid, which tells you how highly they think of him, how much they want him. And if I'm an individual like that, a coach is coming to a completely different country. Obviously, he will be, it looks like, planning to play college ball here in the States, but they clearly want him. 6'3", 316 pounds. All right, that's a kid, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you I've seen a ton of tape on this kid, but how badly the Husker staff obviously wants him. 6'3", 316. That's a guy just from size and weight. We'll see about overall development, where he's at, depending on where he goes. Hopefully it is the Big Red. He can step foot and make some sort of impact sooner rather than later if and when he does actually commit to Nebraska. What are your thoughts, based on what you've seen, what you've known, about Trey Taylor to this point in time? Your impressions of him as a player and the impact he's trying to make on the recruitment trail, trying to get more players from across the country to follow him to Lincoln.
I think it's great. I mean, when he committed, the first thing that I thought of is it all really just zones back to Dylan Raiola. Like, I don't think if you don't get Dylan Raiola, you don't get Trey Taylor, and you don't get these quarterbacks that know how to peer recruit. And it's almost like we're getting to the point where once you get your quarterback in a recruiting class, kind of just sets up this peer recruiting trail where you get your top guy in the class who happens to be a quarterback, and now he's just going to go after every top recruit that he can. I think it's great. I love that he committed to Nebraska super early on in his high school career. Obviously, there's a lot of time. There's other coaches that are going to recruit him. I honestly could see him reclassifying It doesn't happen a lot, but a guy that commits that early is very dedicated to a program. I could see him reclassifying potentially, but we'll see. I like Trey Taylor. I'm very excited to see what he does for these next couple of years.
For those who may not know what reclassify means, you want to explain that real quick?
Yeah, so reclassifying, like an example, like Ryan Williams, the wide receiver, the superstar wide receiver for Alabama. I don't know what exact class this is. I think he would have been a freshman this year.
He was 17 last year.
So yeah, he was class of 25. Reclassifying means that you just enter college early. Like you could graduate high school early, like some students do. I know people that have done it, but you graduate high school early. And then you just enroll in college, and then you can start eligibility then instead of waiting a year. So
basically moving up a year.
Yeah,
is what it
pretty
is.
much. That's in simple terms. Yeah.
It's funny when Bama played Georgia. That to this day, still one of the best regular season games I've ever seen. Bama comes out. I mean, they're just steamrolling Georgia, 28-0. Jalen Milroe. They look like they're going to win the national championship, the Super Bowl, and Milroe's going to win the Heisman and the NFL MVP all in the first quarter and a half of the game. At halftime, it's still 30-7. Georgia comes all the way back, and they actually led for about 90 seconds with about 5 minutes to go. It was an amazing comeback. But Milroe hits Ryan Williams, a 17-year-old phenom, with a deep pass, and he does this epic spin move and makes two elite athletic Georgia DBs just look like elementary school kids who had never played a down of football in a flag football game. And they're elite level athletes, and he makes them both look silly and takes it to the house for the go-ahead touchdown. Now, Georgia, actually, if you remember, marched down the field, and Bama had to get a pick at the goal line to clinch the game. But, man, Ryan Williams was 17 when he did that, which is crazy. All right, so moving on now. Nebraska baseball. So I'm going to attempt to explain this Big Ten tournament format. All right, but real quick, just as kind of a little synopsis, Nebraska has now – they're over 500. And at one point, they were significantly under 500. They're 28-27 on the year. They finished the Big Ten at exactly 500, 15-15. In their last game, I mean, they beat Purdue 14-2, 14 runs, 15 hits. Okay. And run ruled them. But they have now won 5 consecutive series. So I don't know. Maybe I'm being hopeful. Maybe it is what it is. And the fact that maybe they are actually hitting their stride at the right time. This is the team that has the talent. This is the team that has the experience. This is the team that has the coaching. Yes, they lost one of their top, if not their top pitchers early on. Everybody deals with injury. It's part of the game, unfortunately. But I feel like they're hitting their stride at the right time. You look at this Big Ten tournament. And again, I'm going to try to explain it. Okay, Nebraska baseball, 28-27, 15-15, locked up the number 8 seed in the Big Ten tournament by taking 2 of 3 at Purdue to close out the regular season. The Huskers take on number 12 seed Michigan State, who finished 28-25 on the regular season tonight. All right, and then it's like pool play. There's pool play, all right, which we're not used to in a tournament style format, but it's pool play. And then number 1 seed Oregon, who's 41-13, 22-8 in the Big Ten on Friday, and that game's in Omaha starting at 6 p.m. The new Big Ten tournament can be a little confusing. 4 3-team pods, okay, there's 12 teams that are in, play a round robin. Now, what happens if each team goes 1-1 in the pod? The highest seed advances. Therefore, if Nebraska loses on Tuesday and Oregon beats Michigan State on Thursday, all right, the Ducks will automatically qualify for the semifinal round. That makes it paramount for the Huskers not to overlook the Spartans. They got to win tonight. They got to beat Michigan State tonight. All right. So basically, if you're in U Sports right now, a lot of times, like a baseball tournament, you'll play pool play on Saturday. You'll play 1, 2 to 3 games, and then it's seeding for Sunday. And some teams do get eliminated if you don't finish at least 1 or 2 in your little bracket or your pool, in the pool play side of things on Saturday. Then Sunday is the usually single elimination games on Sunday. Does the format, not whether you like it or not, does it make sense?
Yeah.
You look confused.
Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about it. I know they changed it. Yeah. It makes sense. I think it'll be easier to follow once the tournament starts and I'm watching the games and they're, actively explaining and breaking it down on ESPN or whatever they air it on Big Ten Network. I think I'll start to really catch on then, but right now, yeah, it's a little confusing to me currently. But I kind of see what they're doing.
Yeah.
I can't say I really get the why. But I can see what they're doing.
Well, I don't know. I went in the room and they came up with it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
There's 2 reasons that they would do something like this. Number 1, you want to guarantee more games. Because if you just go straight single elimination, you're only guaranteed 1 game. Here, you're guaranteed at least 2 games, maybe 3. All right. So they want to guarantee more games. I don't know why they'd really care about that. This isn't youth sports. You're trying to make sure parents get their money's worth. All right. That's why that's why you have pool play Saturday and then tournament play Sunday, because everyone's guaranteed at least 2 games Saturday, 1 game Sunday. You can say 3-game guarantee, so parents don't mind shelling out a couple $100. If you're like, hey, it's single elimination right out the gate, you might get 1 game, you paid $150, $200 or whatever. Parents aren't going to be thrilled with that. So I don't know that it's that. I think they're trying to reward the higher seeds. The top 4 seeds significantly benefit from this. Like Oregon would get the tiebreaker if everyone goes 1-1 in this 3-team pod that Nebraska, Michigan State, and Oregon are in. So they're trying to reward the higher seeds, which makes the regular season more important. Is this more confusing? Yes. Is it necessary? No. You look at the SEC, it's a lot more straightforward. It's a lot more typical. It's a lot easier to understand. Everybody seems to hate it. I don't know that I'm a fan of it. I do not hate it, though. And I do not hate it for 2 reasons. I don't mind taking the time to try to learn and understand a format. A lot of people just want it to be simple and easy. Like with the college football playoff, they're like, just give us the top 16 teams in the country, which I've explained why you're going to have human bias and everything else and about 15 SEC teams in, because that's just how people view things. So to me, I'm not a complete fan of just take the top 16 ranked teams for several reasons. There has to be a certain amount of, we won this championship on the field. How you see us may be different, but we need to be guaranteed to be in a 16-team playoff. Like if I'm the ACC champ, what if I'm ranked 18th in the country? And then there's a 4-loss SEC team in front of me. Well, we know they're not the best team, but at least I won a championship on the field, albeit from a weaker conference. Maybe I'm 10-2 or something like that. The bottom line is neither team's going to win. There's too many teams in the playoff. But my point is, I don't mind taking the time to learn a bit of a unique format. Also, I love anything that rewards the regular season. Anything that puts more emphasis on the regular season, I'm personally going to like it, because the regular season has been devalued in every sport, but especially college football, where it was unique. It was an outlier. That was something that made it special, at least I thought. Okay, so Michigan State tonight. When did I say they played Oregon? Was it Friday? I had it here in front of me a minute ago. All right, let's see. Yes. Tuesday, number 1 seed Oregon on Friday. All right, each starting at 6 p.m. Central Time in Omaha. So they're trying to reward the higher seeds. It does make it more confusing. It does put more value on the regular season, because if you're a top 4 seed, you get an exceedingly an advantage, is what I'm trying to say. And so for me, I don't completely hate it. It's a little convoluted, maybe a little bit more difficult to understand. All right, how long before we got to head to break? Is it at 25 here?
I mean, we can go whenever. We got to stay a little early because of the baseball games. And we throw it back out at Nick Center, Austin Norman. So, yeah.
All right. So here's what we'll do. Couple of tidbits, and we'll go to break here in about 90 seconds. So Texas A&M baseball and softball. If you hadn't heard, Texas A&M baseball was the preseason number 1 team in the country and finished 14th in the SEC out of 16 teams, and will miss the NCAA tournament probably. They almost won the national championship last year. This is just crazy to me. But then Texas A&M softball entered the postseason as the number 1 team in the country and just became the first top seed ever to fail to get out of their own regional. To me, that was just kind of mind-blowing. It's not positive. It's not negative. It was just like mind-blowing to me. Hard to even fathom. And have you seen, all right, Maya Lesnar. So I actually lived around Fort Collins. So I've been to Colorado State's campus. It's gorgeous. If they just win at something, everything's sitting there. They put up millions of dollars into their stadium, into their facilities, into everything. They just don't win a lot. But they want to be a Big 12 team. That's what their aspirations are. Okay, if you've ever, look at you, you're like, no, that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
Everything's there except the actual wins. They've done everything else. They need to figure it out. Former Nebraska tight ends coach, offensive coordinator Jay Norvell is there. Tim Cassidy, who is here at Nebraska, just retired. He was there for a couple of years. I had the opportunity to go around their weight room, watch spring practice a year or 2 ago. They were very opening, welcoming, and friendly. But Brock Lesnar's daughter, Maya Lesnar, goes there. And then some people were like, dude, this was like 4 or 5 years ago when she first got there. Dude, Brock Lesnar walked into the old Colorado State head coach, Sonny's Steakhouse. And everyone just stared at him like crazy. I wasn't there that night. But they were like, everyone just stared at him. But Maya Lesnar, and she looks like her dad, the female version of it. She's a very powerful athlete. If you watch her, very explosive, much like her dad. Just won her 4th straight Mountain West shot put title, and she's the favorite to win the national title in shot put. So like father, like daughter kind of thing.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to break. When we come back, we'll be joined by Nebraska football legend Steve Warren. And before the end of the show, SEC better than the Big Ten? Per Urban Meyer, it is. Notre Dame, USC, no longer. We'll chat about it. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Welcome summer with Red, White, and Barbecue. Hog Wild will be open this Memorial Day from 11 a.m. until 8 p.m., serving up our award-winning barbecue. Pick up a slab of slow-smoked ribs or a family pack loaded with your favorite choice of meats and sides, complete with buns and our famous barbecue sauce. Enjoy the holiday with family and friends, and let Hog Wild do the cooking. Order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Give your furnace a break with the help of Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Heartland of Nebraska Windows offers a free estimate, full window replacements, all vinyl triple pane windows, and a lifetime warranty of everything, while still keeping their prices affordable. Sounds too good to be true, right? Heartland of Nebraska Windows is locally and family owned with their own team of installers. Give the window experts at Heartland of Nebraska Windows a call today at 402-430-3852 or visit them online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. Elevate your home or business with the help of Heartland of Nebraska Windows today.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
At Raising Cane's, we focus on being the best at one thing and getting it right every time. Which is why every chicken finger meal we serve is marinated, hand-battered, cooked to order, and made just for you. Quality isn't complicated, and our menu is proof.
Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Skip the line and order with our app or online.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Cobble Chevrolet GMC, and they're having the biggest hail sale they've ever had. A huge opportunity is at your front door right now. Some of these cars we're fixing, some we're not, and some it's totally up to you. New Sierra starting at $15,000 off list. New Canyons at $8,500 off list. New body styles on the Acadias, $3,000 off list. You need to hurry as there's going to be a lot of people heading to Louisville. Check us out at cobblecars.com. Stock numbers G121492, G187747, and G196599.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes! Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
I tried to hide my cigarette smoking. Then I was rushed into emergency surgery to repair the damage smoking did to my heart. It shocked everyone because they thought I was healthy. Yet because I smoked, I had a severe heart condition that nearly killed me. My tip is, you may be able to hide your smoking from the world, but you can't hide from the damage smoking does to your body.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this time I am excited to be joined by our special guest, Nebraska football legend. He won a national championship, All-American type honors, first team All-Conference in 1999, a lengthy NFL career, a man who's doing a ton of stuff with the Warren Academy in Omaha, Mr. Steve Warren. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good, my man. How's it going your way?
Dude, life is good. I appreciate you taking the time. All right, man. Couple of quick questions right out the gate. What are your thoughts on you weren't at the Husker games, but I know you keep tabs on what's going on with the program, Matt Rule. What are your thoughts on the offseason so far as we head into Matt Rule's year 3 as head coach?
To be honest, I haven't paid as much attention this offseason with everything going on, but I know there's been a lot of changes, new coordinator, new receivers coach. It'll be exciting or interesting to see how everything takes shape early in the season. I think Cincinnati will be a good test to start a season to see kind of where we're at. Dylan in year 2, seeing what step he takes. So it'll be interesting. My thing and your thing, I'm sure, is always the defensive line. They lost 2 dudes there in the middle, so it'll be interesting to see how and who takes their place and steps up front and seeing if the offensive line can take a next step this next year and improve.
So you led me perfectly. My next question was going to feed right into the defensive lineman. Obviously, you're a former D lineman, so am I. You lose Ty, you lose Nash. If you look at the 3 deep from last year, 6 of the 9 players on their 3 deep are not returning. Now they brought in Gabe Moore, Jalen George, other guys through the transfer portal. You got young guys, Keona Davis, Cam Lenhart, who started a couple years ago, several games, Elijah Judy. But what would you like to see out of this defensive line? You don't even have to put names to it, but what would you just like to see game 1 versus Cincinnati? Do you want to see penetration? Do you want to see, like, if you had to prioritize your number one thing, stopping the run, getting after the quarterback, obviously you want to see all the above, right. But if you had to prioritize one, what would be your big thing come game 1?
I would just say control the line of scrimmage. Play on the other side of the line of scrimmage. Make sure we're dominant up front and that we're dictating the game. Whether that is pass rush or that's tackles for loss or just disrupting plays and disrupting the run game, just dominating up front and playing on the other side of the line of scrimmage is what I'm looking for. Is a group that gets after it. No weaknesses on either side of the ball. Nothing, of course, up the middle. You can't have that. So hopefully, just they're solid, can play the run, and can get after the passer.
All right, let's look at the other side of the ball, the dark side of the ball, the offensive line. All right, our best friends in practice each and every day. But the offensive line, dude, we've got skill positions. We got talented guys at those skill positions, a talented guy at quarterback, a solid running back. And that's being kind because I think he's even better than that. To me, it all kind of revolves around the offensive line. Can we protect Dylan? Can we create holes for Emmett? What would you like to see out of the offensive line, your biggest focus come game number 1?
Again, the same thing, control the line of scrimmage. Protect the quarterback, and we've got to be able to run the ball. Like we know in the Big Ten, like you can pass the ball all you want to, but there's going to be a certain time of year where it's going to get cold. It's going to be a little harder to pass the ball. We got to be able to run the ball and run the ball effectively. So hopefully they can get after it, clear some holes, clear some space for these running backs. Like you said, he's a talented running back. So just give him a little bit of space, let him get to the second level and do work.
So if you had to choose, it sounds like you would choose running the ball, but I'm going to ask the question anyways. If you had to choose being a better run-blocking offensive line or protecting the quarterback was your strength as an offensive line, which one would you choose if you could only choose one?
If I had to choose one, I'd say running the ball, because running the ball is going to open up the pass game. Now, I know there is thoughts these days that passing opens up the run, and you can look at that either way, but I just think the most physical teams always win when it comes down to the last part of the season, and being physical starts with running the ball and stopping the run to me. So I would say if we could run the ball effectively, that's going to help, one, a younger quarterback, offensive coordinator to call plays and have an open playbook. But if you become one-dimensional, I think it's tough to win games throughout the season and win those tough games. So I think you're going to have to rely on the run. So if I had to choose one, it's going to be able to run the ball effectively, but because I think that's going to help your pass game too, especially with the offensive line that may not pass protect well. If you can run the football, that opens up play pass and it allows you to kind of be a little bit two-dimensional or three-dimensional even.
Dude, I'm with you. I'm not even that old. I'm only 41, but I feel like I'm old school in my mindset. If you play good defense, you run the ball, and you don't beat yourself, you're going to win a lot of football games that way. I don't know. It's a story as old as time. All right, man. Last question about the Huskers, and I want to talk about some of the things that you're currently doing with the Warren Academy. But next season, let's say it's got to be wins and losses focused. Obviously, you don't want any trouble off the field. You want to see the team progress. But if you had to put a wins and losses total on it, what would you consider a successful season in year 3 wins and losses total for Matt Rule and the squad?
Well, what would I say is a successful season? I would have to say, to be successful, or with the schedule they have, let's be honest, it's not the toughest schedule on paper.
Yeah.
So let's just say for that schedule, I would say it has to be 9 or 10 wins.
All right. I like that. And it's crazy because you look at the schedule, it's so weird, dude. With Michigan, Michigan State, Minnesota, Iowa, Penn State, USC, UCLA on the road in November. I'm like, I could see us going 6-6. And then I look at it and I'm like, the only team we're probably, and you never know, definitely going to be a big underdog is Penn State. We could be 11-1, like somewhere in the middle. Who knows where it's going to land? But hey, 9 wins, 10 wins, dude, Husker fans would be ecstatic about that. If you're at the 10-win range, you're in the conversation for the college football playoff too, as well. So we'll see what happens there. All right, my man.
But the interesting thing is a handful of those teams. You hear the names, but most of those teams are in the same boat as Nebraska right now. They're trying to get back to relevancy or trying to come back from a bad season. So that's why I'm saying we're in the same boat. So if you're in the same boat, you might as well take the win.
So here's the deal. You're absolutely right. You talk about, and Michigan's going to Michigan, but you got Michigan State trying to come back. You got UCLA with Nico Iamaleava. You got USC, who's literally in the same boat as we are. They went 1-5 in one-score games last year. We were 2-5, so we're both in the similar boat. All right, I lied. I got one more question. What do you think is going to be the biggest difference maker as far as whether we beat USC or don't, whether we beat Iowa or don't, whether we win those games or we don't, where we're in the same boat as our opponent and we're both trying to figure out how to get that done? What's going to be the biggest difference maker to you?
I think it's going to be the ability to score points. I think it's going to come down to who can put up scores on the scoreboard and who can score and who has an efficient offense. I think that's what it's going to come down to. In this day and age, defense is a lot harder to play. So I think it's going to be who can come out and control the game offensively.
All right, man, let's talk about what you're doing with the Warren Academy. All right, maybe educate people if they haven't heard of it. Most people have. But for those who haven't, exactly what it is and some of the camps and things that you're doing with kids throughout this summer and going forward into the fall.
Yeah, so we're excited about this summer and going into the fall. We've revamped a little bit of what we're doing with the academy. We're kind of sports focused in a way at some of our facilities. We're at 144th and Giles in Omaha, but we're also partnering with Going Vertical starting in June. So at the 144th Giles location, we're primarily focused on football and our soccer kids. Sports performance training, skill training, speed training is one thing that we're trying to push to these kids, especially the high school kids, a little bit more because they're already lifting so much at their high schools that we don't want to really step in the way of the high school programs and add another lift onto a kid. But we know that we can help on the speed side and be a little bit more technical there. And then at Going Vertical, we're going to be partnering on basketball. So we're going to be primarily for basketball kids at Going Vertical and helping those hoopers get right and, gain a little bit of muscle, not get knocked off the spot and get to the rim a little bit easier.
All right, man. So obviously you do a lot with football. You do a lot with a lot of sports. I know you've grown a lot in soccer. If people want to learn more about how they want to get involved, learn more about the camps you're doing this summer, where can they learn more at?
Yeah, our summer camps start June 2nd and they go through July 31st. They can go to warrenacademy.com. Under each tab, the performance label is the sports performance tab. You'll find the performance lab, and that's primarily for the Giles location and what we're doing there for soccer and football. And then the Going Vertical, there's a Going Vertical tab that's specifically for their location and what we're doing for basketball there. So warrenacademy.com, click on the website, hit us up on our About Us and check out what we do and how we do it and why we do it. And then our Contact Us page if you got any questions. But other than that, man, we're looking forward to working with the kids this summer and growing the sport of football. And now we're getting into basketball and also soccer.
All right, man, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask. Your son, Braylon Warren, he's a quarterback, 6'1", 180 pounds, all right, out of Omaha, obviously, West Side High School class of 2027. What's the recruitment process been like for you guys? Is he enjoying it? Is it stressful? Have you kind of protected him as a parent? What's been your approach to this whole process?
Actually, he's upticked a little bit. He's closer to 6'2" now. He's about 2. He was 205. He was 205 the other day. So he'd be mad at me if I kept him around 180. He's growing into a young man's body. But yeah, it's been fun for us. It's exciting. He's up to around 13 offers, all Power 4 conferences, several in the SEC, several in the Big Ten, and a lot in the Big 12. So now they're all starting to come this way. He's kind of become a national recruit. We feel like he's one of the top 10 quarterbacks in his class. We feel like he's a talented kid. We've been to Elite 11. We've been to Rivals Dallas. We just came back from Quarterback Collective, and every time he goes, he ends in that top group and is one of the kids that steps out and stands out. So for him, I think he's a laid back kid. So that's the best part for me is I don't have one of those kids that's the type of kid that wants to go on every visit and put on all the uniforms and take the pictures. He's not all about that. He's not really a big social media guy. He's a blue blood football player. So he loves football. He loves the sport. I'm always catching him looking at highlights. He's a big Jalen Hurts fan. So he's always into the game. And this past weekend was good for us. We were at QB Collective in LA, and he had a chance to work with current NFL coaches and current GMs, former NFL quarterback coaches, OCs, kind of a private camp. And he was just a sponge, man. He loved it. He loved being around those coaches and learning that part of the game. And they did a good job of keeping it at the level for high school kids. But I don't think it's gotten too crazy for him yet. It'll start June 15th when they can officially, legally start to contact him and call and DM and do all that stuff. But he's enjoying it so far, and so are we. We got a big camp schedule coming up, and we're just looking forward to this next football season with Westside.
Well, hey, man, best of luck to Braylon. Hopefully you guys enjoy this recruitment process. As you know, it can get a little bit crazy. And I'm looking at 247 Sports website, 6'2", 205, not 6'1", 180. They need to update that info. All right, my man. I wish you, Braylon, and everything you guys are doing at the Warren Academy nothing but the best. Thanks for taking the time to join me, my man.
All right, brother. Appreciate you.
All right, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket is your place for English Premier League soccer. On Saturday, May 10th, Wolves plays Brighton at 9 a.m., followed by Bournemouth versus Aston Villa at 11:30 a.m. On Sunday, Man United plays West Ham at 8:15 a.m., followed by Liverpool versus Arsenal at 10:30 a.m. Liverpool currently leads the standings with 82 points. You can find all this and more at McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket, your place for English Premier League soccer located at 8th and P.
Grandma and Grandpa, Mom and Dad, then the kids, and now the grandkids. Judson Irrigation has provided lawn sprinkler system design, installation, repair, and service to 4 generations. They're just like members of the family. Loyalty, trust, service. It's what you deserve and expect from Judson Irrigation.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Make plans to join 93.7 The Ticket and the Amon Green Foundation for the first annual Nebraska Esports Golf Tournament on Monday, June 9th at Wilderness Ridge. It's a four-man scramble starting at 11 a.m. that will feature former Husker greats like Amon Green, Johnny Rogers, Niles Paul, Tony Davis, Adam Carriker, Vershawn Jackson, and more, with great prizes and great golf. Sponsorships are also available. Call or text us at 402-464-5685 with questions, or sign your team up online at theticketfm.com. Registration goes through May 30th.
Rick Heyman here from Sauter Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sauter Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at sauterheyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
It's the best time of the year to order a new John Deere air seeder during Landmark Implement's Fast Start Early Order program. Take your seeding performance to the next level with John Deere's advanced air seeding technology. Achieve precise seed and fertilizer placement, optimize emergence, and cover more acres with less downtime. Now is the time to lock in the best price of the year during Landmark Implement's Fast Start Early Order program. Contact your Landmark Implement for full details and experience the Landmark difference.
I'm Karen Carr. I've been a realtor for 31 years. When I made a company change 12 years ago, I chose Lincoln First Realty, now NP Dodge. It's the oldest independently owned realty company in the country. Since becoming NP Dodge, we've continued our tradition of community involvement. Our management and staff are always available to offer support in marketing, technology, social media, and educational opportunities.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mainly cloudy skies and it will be windy. An afternoon high near 63. Tonight, partly cloudy and breezy, a low around 43. And tomorrow, a slight chance of showers, storms in the afternoon. Otherwise, mainly sunny and breezy with a high near 67. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fleck from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contests, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here at 93.7 The Ticket. All right, Jackson, you just told me you're moving back to Florida at some point.
I am.
USF, best of luck You said July? All
Yeah,
right.
July.
So you're stuck
Yeah.
with me for the next couple weeks, and you're stuck with the great state of Nebraska until
Absolutely.
then. But for now, I got to know. And I guess technically USF, you said, is AAC, so they're not SEC. But Urban Meyer has come out and said that he believes the Big Ten has passed the SEC. Now, he's really referring to the top end of the Big Ten. He's talking about what happened last year in the postseason, the bowl games, the playoffs, et cetera, as far as the SEC teams being overrated and whining and complaining for no real reason other than ESPN SEC bias. But the Big Ten, the top end, is where he's like Ohio State, Michigan. He believes they've surpassed Texas and Georgia. Those are his words when I looked up and did a little bit of recon when I heard that Urban's like, because the headline I saw, Urban Meyer makes bold claim on Big Ten better than the SEC. And I was like, oh, I better do a little bit of recon on this. Basically, he's saying Michigan, Ohio State have surpassed Georgia, Texas. I would still say Georgia's probably the top program in the country. Let me put it this way. They had a down year, a bad year, and won the SEC. Just think about that, okay? But he believes that Ohio State, Michigan have surpassed Georgia. Well, Texas is on the come up, but Alabama, okay? And then he's like Penn State, Oregon. He thinks they're better than the next echelon or the next tier in the SEC. Now, he didn't address top to bottom, okay? The conference as a whole, top to bottom. He's talking about the top end. Let's be real. If Clemson is really good out of the ACC, nobody's going to care about the ACC sucking. The ACC sucks, but as long as you got one good team that can represent you in the playoffs, that's all anybody cares about. Now, is that a full depiction of the conference as an actual whole? No, it's not. Okay. But he's emphasizing the top end, and that's what most people are going to pay attention to, the teams now in the college football playoff. Do you agree that the Big Ten has surpassed the SEC? All I've ever said is the SEC is not the NFL of college football. Do I believe the Big Ten has surpassed the SEC? The top part, yes. When you go top to bottom, I'm not there yet. I don't know that Indiana, if they took on, I don't know, LSU, who I would favor in that matchup. I'd have to learn a lot more. I'm just picking teams that are kind of upper middle in each side. Okay, will Indiana be that good again this year? LSU, they've got the best roster they've had in half a decade, so watch out for them, by the way. What are your thoughts on this, Jackson?
I actually think the Big Ten, I think, had a better postseason than the SEC, and I think it kind of sparked this. I kind of saw it firsthand. We were talking about Tampa. I was down in Tampa at the ReliaQuest Bowl, and I watched Michigan kind of
dismantle
Alabama like live, and I kind of saw what it did to the fans. I saw what it did, right there on the field. So that was a really good example of Michigan kind of showing, hey, we won a national championship last year. We came back. We weren't, as good as that, but we're still here. I could see the Big Ten within the next 5 years. I could feel confident about saying that. But right now, I would still, Georgia's still probably the best program in the country. I think Ohio State has a slight edge over Bama. But that's the only one I'd probably say is like, I'm confident about that. So yeah, it's an interesting statement, but I don't think there's enough evidence yet to fully support that claim, but I like it. I like the Big Ten, so.
Yeah, I like that claim too.
Can't say I dislike it. Can't say I dislike it.
I like it as well. Now, do I 100% agree with it? Here's where I think the Big Ten has caught up to the SEC, and I think we're now on equal footing.
Okay, yeah,
and I think people can't deny it. The talking heads on ESPN, SEC Network can no longer deny it. It's undeniable. Although, just wait. They'll come back and they'll try to buy into it again. My point is I think we're on equal footing, and now this is where one conference is going to get ahead of the other, especially this upcoming season, in my humble opinion. All right, USC, Notre Dame. I just did a segment a week or two ago on the top 5 non-conference rivalries that need to continue on. USC, Notre Dame was on here. Long story short, they have played 95 times since 1924. This is one of the most historic rivalries in all of college football. Notre Dame wants to continue to do it. Why? Because they're not in a conference and they can create their own schedule. USC is actually in the Big Ten, and they're nervous about playing a Big Ten slate, trying to make a deep run in the college football playoff, especially if it goes to 16 teams. That's 4 extra games plus a conference title game if you make that, plus a Big Ten conference slate, and then adding Notre Dame to it, where Notre Dame can schedule all the cupcakes they want, play 5 ACC teams. That's all they're contracted to do in football. And so, of course, they want to keep playing USC. USC is the one that's like, they're not sure about continuing on the series. And if I'm USC, I get it. If I'm Notre Dame, I want it to continue. We'll see what happens there. Until tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, go Big Red Nose. Remember to throw the ball.